Hello, hello. Where are we walking today? So we are on 8th Avenue in Sunset Park. I am at the dead end area, right off of 39th Street. And we're going to be walking in this direction till we hit the end of 8th Avenue. So we just recently did Park Slope 8th Avenue. Now we're going to do the other side going in the other direction, the Sunset Park side. And, you guys have probably always heard me mention it in the past, growing up in Sunset Park. We're finally going to pass by my childhood apartment. So you guys can see where I used to live when I was living in the really dangerous years of Sunset Park, late 70s, early 80s. And this was the avenue. This was one of the 3 avenues that you needed to stay off of back in those days. But I had no choice. I lived on the avenue as a kid. The other avenues were 5th Avenue and 9th Avenue, which is the next one down. And this area has changed a lot. There's so many buildings that have been built up. But my apartment building where I grew up, we're going to see on the next block, it looks exactly the same as it did back when I was a kid. It hasn't changed. Well, we've walked a few times on 8th Avenue, but I never do commentary on 8th Avenue. So this will be the first time I'm doing commentary on 8th Avenue over here. See that big apartment building there on the corner? It used to be a hardware store there. Really big hardware store. Well, it wasn't really big. It was a small as far as size, but it went all the way down the block. It had everything you needed back in the day. All right, this was my block right here. There used to be a dry cleaners here, Regina Dry Cleaner. I was actually friends with the son, Anthony, back in the day. So this is where I lived, right here. You see those red gates? That's it right there, and it looks the same except for the red gates. It was just black doors and stuff, but this is where I lived, right here. It was on the top floor, right up there. That's where the tavern used to be on the corner. I've shown pictures in the past. If you've ever watched some of my lives at my desk, I show pictures of Sunset Park, but that's where the tavern used to be. There was 2 car services over here where we would play arcades, one over there, and then one right over here. This is where we used to come in and play Space Invaders was the big one. Space Invaders and Pac-Man. And then right over here is where I bought my first bike. This over here. So over here used to be the pizza place. I'll wait for this truck to go by. Right there, I believe it was the RBH Center. There was a pizza place there. You could buy Italian ices and all that other stuff. And then over there is Arnold's Bike Store, which has been closed for quite some time now, but the sign is still there. That's where I bought my first bike, where my father bought my first bike. So yeah, a lot of history. And I forgot to mention, over on 42nd Street that we passed, we're on 43rd now, was where my grandmother lived. Halfway up the block, so I was always at my grandmother's house, so very easy to get over to the park. Up the block. The park is Sunset Park, the actual park is right up the block. Now, if you're wondering if there's anything that's still here from those days, when I was a kid, I just showed you the bike store, but it's closed. That is it, man. Everything down here is... I know there's a couple of pizza places that will pass that have been around for a long time, but everything you see today on this avenue was not around when I was a kid. So we are walking due west, if you're into geography and stuff like that. And we'll be ending this right over where 7th Avenue merges in. It's where 8th Avenue ends, over by like... It's over by like the BQE. Like in the 70s or 80s. I'm always not sure where that ends. It ends where that Italian restaurant used to be. So that's where we're gonna call it. Now this part of Brooklyn, we're going to get into it, but when we get down into the 50s, is probably the most crowded area on this avenue. So this is the newest school, one of the newest schools in Brooklyn. They've been building this thing for years. We've walked by it a few times. It's a little early today. It's that I'm doing this walk. It's around 10:30, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to see a lot of people. As we get down into the 50s, it'll get a little more crowded. The 8th Avenue in this area has been dubbed Brooklyn's Chinatown. And what you'll find is plenty of food markets. I think what we'll do is we'll cross over for a little bit. We'll go back on the other side later. Today's weather, you want the weather report? It is 70 degrees. 70 degrees. clouds and sun, humid, pretty humid. We got more rain moving in. We've had some rain here for days. Sun finally came out yesterday, and then today the sun is going to go back in, and we're going to get more rain later on. So there should be rain later on tonight and tomorrow. And this is my first walk in, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks that I actually I'm doing some talking to you guys. Decided to go back to my vintage old format of walking without talking for a little bit. But today we're gonna talk it out on this one. Aquarium place here, fish place. There goes Dominic's. That's one of the pizza places I was telling you about that's still around after many years. On the corner there. And I believe there's another one on the corner coming up later on. I don't know what's going on over here, but oh, okay, it's a hose for the construction. So I didn't see the hose. I was looking at the bag. Now you guys can see everything I'm seeing, but you cannot smell everything I am smelling. And I will be honest with you, you will smell both good and bad things on 8th Avenue. And the reason why I just mentioned that is I just walked by that place, that food place, and it actually smells really good. There are times when you're walking on 8th Avenue and you get a really bad whiff of something. Some plants. It smells like flowers. So in front of that place smells like flowers. The other thing you got to watch out for on 8th Avenue is traffic. Traffic is dangerous. It's right up there with Borough Park traffic, which is the next door neighborhood of this one. Borough Park is to my left, 2 blocks down. So yeah, 8th Avenue and 8th Avenue, 13th Avenue are 2 pretty dangerous avenues, but you got to watch your cross streets. Everybody looks dressed up over here. What's going on? Maybe they just dressed up. right, so we got a church across the street. We'll take a look at it from over here before we cross over. And yes, that church has been around since I was a kid. I don't know what church it is, though. We're going to go find out. It says Second Evangelical Free Church. That's quite a name. Second Evangelical Free Church. Looks like those old barn style doors. And by the way, I am walking really slow. I am taking my time. I'm trying to get in all the sights. We're about to get into the busy area now. This right here is 53rd Street. I could have made it across, but I thought the light was going to change quicker than what it's doing now. But you'll see there's like a whole queue of cars coming through here. Later on, by like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, actually in only about an hour from now, there'll be times of gridlock down here. You can see how the foot traffic amount has picked up. And we haven't hit the busy spot yet. I'll show you guys the busy spots coming up very shortly in the next couple of blocks after we get across this next street is where it really gets crowded. And I believe the last time I came through here, actually the last two walks I did through here were weather related. The last one I did down here was during a snowstorm. And then the one that I did before the snowstorm was months earlier during that really bad flash flood storm on 9/11 in 2023, I believe it was. You guys could go back and look those up because that was actually a really cool walk. I mean, it really rains on that walk. There's a lot of flood and rain and flooded streets. So yeah, the last two times I've been down here with the camera has been weather related. You know what? I'm going to get across that street. I don't want to wait. Now the next block is going to be really crowded. It smells really bad over here. Oh my God. Man, it reeks like Look, there's no other way to put it, so I'm just gonna say it. It smells like piss. I mean, it just smells really bad over here. I'm not saying that the people smell like that. I'm just saying that's what the sidewalk and everything around here smells like. Smell went away, by the way, thank God. But that corner that we just got on, like 55th Street, wow, it was. People must use that corner at night for like a public restroom or something. So this block right here is usually the most crowded block. All right, there we go. All right, so this spot right here has a lot of food markets that everybody comes to. The fact that I'm actually able to walk through is a good thing. But like in an hour from now, I probably won't be able to walk through here. I probably have to go into the street. I'll stand right here for a second. Yes, somebody's blasting music driving by. There you go. And the next block also is quite crowded. Oh man, another corner that smells like a bathroom. Jeez. Listen, man, there's trying to give you the whole experience, right? Like, you guys are seeing stuff, but you ain't smelling it. So I'm trying to fill you guys in. You see how crowded it is. You know, the fish market here. I'll tell you, walking through these streets reminds me of the Philippines. When I was in the Navy, I used to go to the Philippines every once in a while. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but there's a city out in the Philippines. I think it's called Davao. Oh, that guy's beeping like crazy. I don't know why they're beeping. But you would walk through those streets in that city in the Philippines and it would be just like this. It was just constant street vendors on one side and stores on the other side. And a lot of people walking back and forth with a lot of bikes. All right, it'll start to thin out now, the foot traffic, for a little bit. Made it through the most crowded streets. It'll stay crowded though. So you know what we'll do? We'll get over on the other side and see what's going on over there. We've made it to 59th Street. You'll see a lot of these people out here handing out like advertisements to come into the stores. We've made it to 60th Street. All right, here we go. Had to wait for the light. And I know there's like an old soccer tavern over here that's been around for a long time, and I could see it. It has the Norwegian flag. I am half Norwegian. Got the American flag, Irish. This tavern has been around for quite some time. So I guess that's another place that we could say has still been around for many years. All right, we've made it. We've made it to the train station. Well, not just quite yet. The train station. It's on the other end of the wall here. This is probably one of the most populous train stations in Brooklyn, next to Coney Island train station, right here, 8th Avenue. You get a lot of people coming in and out of this station. If you've ever rode the N train, you know what I'm talking about. A lot of people get on or get off at this station. Let's get across the street. We are coming out of Sunset Park shortly. Look at this construction going on over here. As soon as this truck moves, look at that. Look at that. They're building this, let's go over there and take a look. Big tower building, look at this. That's what they're building here. That's big. About 20 stories. Look at that. Right next to the train, you can see that's the train station right there. That is the 8th Avenue, the back of the 8th Avenue train station. Basically, a whole city block is being dug up. I want to get back across the street. There we go. Yeah, we're walking a little faster now. All right, so we made it to 65th Street. More construction going on right there. These are areas that'll have some more construction eventually. There you go, guys. That's who you call if you get a ticket. 65th Street. There we go. We are about to cross the Leif Erikson Park area. This is the soccer field. And we'll be passing Leif Erikson Park in a second. Now, the neighborhood boundaries down here are kind of weird. But once we get past the park, they consider that both Bay Ridge and Sunset Park, because it is a borderline. I'm going to take it. So Leif Erikson Park is it goes all the way up this way, and it goes all the way down this way. It's like a park. It's like a park you walk through several blocks to go through. See some basketball courts over here. But now we're gonna get into more nice, relaxed, quiet walking now. As we move out of Sunset Park. And we're gonna take this walk until we hit 7th Avenue. So if you look up the block there, you'll see that's 7th Avenue, but 7th Avenue is, it's coming towards us. It's on an angle. And eventually it's gonna cross in front of us. And that's where 8th Avenue ends, and that'll be the end of it. So I hope everybody enjoyed that part of the walk. That was the meat. That was the meat of the walk. We're not going to see much action from this point on. This is the quiet area of the avenue. You can see like how drastically it has changed. There's not a person on the next block yet. It's just me right now. And then there's somebody out there crossing. So it's very quiet down here. And you can see the Verrazano Bridge. Verrazano Bridge is always had, well, obviously it always has because it hasn't moved, but 8th Avenue has always been known to have one of the nicest views of the Verrazano Bridge walking down in the Sunset Park area, especially at night. When I was a kid, my father would take me on long walks. We would literally walk this all the way down to where we're going now and then keep walking on 7th Avenue until we hit Poly Prep. I used to go on these long walks when I was a kid with my father. And sometimes we would go at night and you'd see the bridge in front of you the whole way. And then eventually you get over to Poly Prep, and then I'm sure you know, if you're standing right outside the golf course, right across from Poly Prep, you get a really great view of the bridge. 70th Street. Well, I guess now's the time before we end the walk in a couple blocks. I want to thank everybody for tagging along. I know it's been a little bit since I talked, but we're going to mix up the content. Anybody new to the channel in the last year might not know this, but first year of the channel, I did not do any commentary. So you could go back and look at all of my videos if you don't want to hear me talking. Or recently I've been doing just straight up street ambience. And then for a while I've been doing commentary, so I was like, you know what, it's been a while. So the last few walks that I did, I didn't do any talking on it. So we'll mix it up. This is where it ends. This is 8th Avenue, the end of 8th Avenue over here. This is 7th Avenue crossing in front of us right here on 72nd Street. There used to be an Italian restaurant here on the corner. That was what I was talking about earlier. What we'll do is we will end it over at the Triangle. Mondello Triangle, Anthony Mondello Triangle. This is it, right here. So, right there is 7th Avenue. So, I want to thank everybody for taking along. We'll end it here at this little monument. And a little look around. And that's that. So take care, everyone. Thanks for taking along, and I will catch you all on the next walk. Bye-bye.